everybody. Thanks so much for joining us right here for The Right View. I'm Lara Trump, and I am so excited to be joined tonight by former senior advisor to President Trump's campaign, my good friend, Katrina Pierson. Katrina, welcome back to The Right View.
Well, thank you, Laura. I am so excited to be back with you tonight. It feels great to be on with you again.
I know, it's like old times. It's like we never left. But since we were last together on The Right View, Katrina, a lot has happened.
Oh, wow, a lot.
It's been a while, I think, since our supporters have heard from you. So why don't you break it down for us? Just give me your general thoughts on how Joe Biden is doing so far.
Well, Laura, how much time do we have this evening? Because, as you said, there's so much going on. And but I could just sum it up into 4 words. We told you so. I mean, how many times did we warn people about the potential devastation that lie ahead if Joe Biden became president, whether it be from COVID to immigration to the further demonization of 75 million Americans by the radical left? I mean, think about it. Congress was so consumed with punishing President Trump that those $2,000 COVID checks still haven't gone out. The Biden administration says the joke is on you, America. And now instead we have dozens of executive orders on racial equity, policies that put Americans and America last, just as we said, and a $2 trillion COVID relief package where only 9% goes to COVID relief and only 1% goes towards accelerating the vaccine distribution. But Laura, don't worry, because the Institute of Museum and Library Services is going to receive $200 million.
They're cleaning up.
Food programs are going to receive $800 million. And let's not leave out the $50 million for climate change programs. Never mind, our kids aren't back in school because the allocation for $135 million is going to the National Endowment of the Arts. That'll fix the education gap, won't it?
I mean, the arts have been cleaning up. I continue to talk about this on the show. It's sort of crazy. How much more money do they need, Katrina? Because I remember back over the summer, the arts and the Kennedy Center and all of these places were getting so much money from these COVID relief bills. It's outrageous. But you and I got to travel the country together, not only in 2016, but in 2020. And one of the things that I think we continued to talk about was the energy industry. And Joe Biden likes to present himself, Katrina, as Scranton Joe, the hometown boy from Pennsylvania. And yet when we were in Pennsylvania, what did we say to all the folks in Pennsylvania? If you elect Joe Biden, he will not have your back. He's going to take your jobs away. He's going to sell us out to China. He's going to sell us out to, we now have seen what the ramifications are. He, on day one, signed an executive order eliminating 11,000 energy jobs with stopping the XL Keystone pipeline. And in states all over the country, your state of Texas, is an energy state. It is no longer that America is a net energy exporter like we were under President Donald Trump. We are now, again, thanks to Joe Biden, reliant on the Middle East. We are reliant on Russia for our oil. We are no longer, it feels like the superpower anymore that we were under President Donald Trump. But you're right. We warned people about this with Joe Biden. But I have to tell you, Katrina, I almost am shocked at how much Joe Biden has done to reverse the policies and all the good that President Trump did so quickly. I mean, he's only been in office, I think, technically for 37 days or something, working days. And yet we find ourselves here in this space. The people, as you said, have no checks. They have no relief. It's a joke that what Congress is trying to push through. But we did tell people so. And something that I want to talk specifically with you about is that one of the things that you did, and I'm so proud of, was you worked alongside President Trump. And in our campaign, we had Black Voices for Trump offices. We had outreach from a Republican candidate for president in communities that really oftentimes were overlooked by previous candidates, previous administrations. When you see all the good that President Trump did for, communities around the country that had been forgotten and left behind, it's really amazing to see what he was able to do in 4 years. But I know you especially worked hard on the Black Voices offices, championing things like opportunity zones, the criminal justice reform that President Trump was instrumental in. Now, Katrina, we see what Joe Biden has started doing by basically saying our southern border is wide open. Everybody come into America. We are not going to get the kids back in school in a timely fashion. I want to get your take in terms of Joe Biden. And I almost feel like he has, in 37 some days in office, ruined any forward progress that Black America and minorities across the country got from a Trump administration.
Oh, wow. There's no question that he's doing that. And, it just takes me back to a question I was asked just yesterday, actually. I was asked, what is my what do I believe is my biggest accomplishment since I've been with President Trump? And it was absolutely the fact that we were allowed to grow outreach into Black and brown communities to turn out for a Republican president and made history. That is a huge accomplishment, and the party should be paying attention to that as well. But when you look at when Joe Biden first took office and how he was speaking to African Americans, how he wouldn't even take their calls in their meetings and just sort of pat them on the heads like they always do. You mentioned communities that have been overlooked by previous administrations, Democrat and Republican, and that includes the Obama administration. So the fact that they're not even talking about continuing some of the programs that President Trump started, I know they're trying to mimic it and call it Biden, but really the only thing they can do is to take what President Trump started and continue it down the path forward. And I just don't think they're interested in doing that. Their goal is to get rid of all of Trump's policies, erase him from the history books, and pretend like it didn't happen. And we know that's not going to work because we see Black and brown Americans all over the country already having voter remorse because they have seen exactly what we said. We told you so. Joe Biden does not care about you. And the fact that he says that transgender equality is the human rights, the civil rights of our lifetime. I mean, come on. This is just like, you can't even make this up anymore. This is so sad to me because we really did have a huge opportunity to have more Black Americans and Hispanic Americans, rise up in the economy. But the difference between President Trump and Biden, create more followers, and he wants to keep people down because that's what liberal policies do. It prevents you from being able to pick yourself up by your bootstraps and get on the same playing field as everyone else, because Democrats know that if we have an educated public, a working class that's strong, they will not be treated like the kings and queens that they're trying to pretend that they are today.
Yeah, it's really sad to see. But, I mentioned it kind of into asking you that question. But honestly, you look at the fact that Joe Biden is championing a bill to give amnesty to 11 million illegal immigrants in America. You look at what is happening now with, they call it, I think the Voting Rights Act or something, some new bill that every single Democrat in the House signed on to. The way that they want to change this country, let me ask you a question. If you give 11 million people who are here illegally citizenship, and then you go so far as to completely take away any option of voter ID, that's what one of the parts of this bill is. You want to extend early voting, as though, Katrina, people weren't already questioning our system as it was, because there's so much time in some states between the first day of early voting and election day. They want to extend out early voting. They want to make sure that we have more mail-in voting, because we saw how well that worked on November 3rd, 2020, when we still had no results for weeks in so many states. But I think what they want to do is they really want to change the system in America so that Republicans don't have a shot. And quite frankly, I really think they want to take over the Black vote, which they know Donald Trump got more of than any Republican in decades. In 2020, they want to just usurp that and wipe it out and say it doesn't even matter anymore because, look, we got 11 million more people that are going to vote for Democrats.
Well, yeah, and not only that, because we've been using that number for like, years,
That's
at
true.
least the last 7 years that I've been doing. So I think we're closer to 20 million.
Probably.
And you know what? That doesn't even matter because that's just what they'll use to say, oh, this is why we won by 300 million votes. It's you can't make this stuff up anymore. And the Black communities are the ones that are hit the hardest when you have lower educated, lower income people coming in from other countries who don't speak the language, who don't know a skill. It's their communities that get overrun. It's their hospital systems that get full. It's their education system that gets overburdened. And they're fine. The Democrats that are in office, they all live in their nice, protected, quiet communities, gated,
with
walking
walls.
around with arms, with walls. But it's not like that for everyone else. And
Yeah.
the reason why they want to do it is they want a permanent ruling class. And that does not include Republicans or anyone else for that matter.
Yeah, it's scary stuff. But I think it's all the more reason that we need to go state by state. I say this all the time, Katrina, we need to go state by state to the state legislatures over the next, I mean, we don't even have 2 years at this point until the midterm elections, until 22, and reverse some of the changes that were erroneously made in 2020 under the guise of COVID, and make sure that we have a free and fair election process that people believe in, that people can trust, and is totally transparent. We don't want to question it even more, which is what the Democrats' bill that they're proposing would do. We want to know that we can trust in our system, and I think it's a really, really important fight that really we're going to have to take on because nobody else is going to do it. We know that the Democrats are never going to go for more transparency. They want more confusion. So I want everybody to stay right where they are. Katrina and I are going to take a quick break. We will be right back with you. Welcome back to The Right View. I'm so excited to have Katrina Pierson, one of our own, here with me today. So Katrina, I want to ask you, we finally got to see President Trump in the flesh on Sunday speaking at CPAC. It's the first time that anybody had heard from him really since he left office. I think that people were so excited to get to hear what he had to say. I had people texting me all weekend long, excited for it. Give me your thoughts about sort of his comeback speech of sorts.
I thought it was amazing, although it made you sad because you miss him. You missed his voice on Twitter. You miss his opinions because every time something happens now, you can just hear the tweets. You don't even have to see the report. You just know it's there. And this was truly indicative as to why he won the first time. When you listen to his speech and you hear all of the policies that we championed for so long, you just remember and you understand why the entire leftist cabal had to come out and stop him, because he was truly about to change this country, get us back to the basics, and allow all Americans to be able to have the success and prosperity that are due to Americans in this country by bringing back pro-America policies and fighting for the people. And so it was really a sad moment for me, but happy at the same time. Sad that he wasn't in office anymore. And, Laura, it made me sad, but it made me happy. Sad because I miss him being on the national stage. I miss him, exposing the left and the lies and telling the American people the truth. But it also made me happy because I realized in that moment that President Trump, I believe, may even be in a stronger position now to go out there and to campaign again directly to the American people about what is actually going on in Washington. And now he can go out again into this country all over the place and say what he wants to say and do what he wants to do and tell the American people the truth the same way he did back in 2015. And we all know how powerful that was. So I believe this is just phase 2 of Donald J. Trump as our leader.
Wow. By the way, I never thought of it like that. I think you're right, though. I think he actually may be in a uniquely stronger position now. And who else has had an opportunity like him? It's actually amazing. And look, we all feel like it would have been great to just get 2 consecutive terms of President Trump. But he kind of touched on the idea that maybe he's not totally done. We'll see what happens there. But I think you're right. I think he is very strong out there, and he made it clear that he's going to actively work to elect strong, tough, and smart Republican leaders. And I think that, that's what we need right now. He is still the kingmaker. He is still the head of the Republican Party. There is no question about it. But heading into a midterm year, coming up, that's going to be really powerful and really important.
Oh, absolutely. There's no question, because people can see what's been happening and they don't like it. And when you have the media telling people not to see what they saw or believe what they heard, it's really offensive. And to demonize people also. I mean, this has gone on to a whole nother level that we're seeing now that Democrats control the House, the Senate, and the White House. But I think it is going to be very powerful. And I think the president is in a very good position to help, turn out even some Republicans that weren't doing what they were supposed to do, because that's truly the key. If you don't hold your own party accountable, nothing will ever get done. And so I'm really excited that he has this opportunity.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, because you did create a little bit of buzz. I've seen your name in a few articles. Is there a possible Congresswoman Katrina Pierson at some point ahead in our future?
Laura, I believe that is a very strong possibility. I have dedicated my last 12 years of my life to fighting for and defending conservative values. I was with Trump before it was cool. And anyone who's ever followed my political career knows I've been dedicated to the liberty movement from the beginning. So whether it be this year or next, I intend to stand up to continue to fight and be a voice for Americans who've been forgotten, and to remain a thorn in the side of those politicians who've been derelict in their duties and who abandon America First policies. But Laura, we must take back the House in 2022, and I am committed to helping to do that.
Oh my gosh. Well, I love it. You heard it here first, folks. Katrina Pierson looking at a run for the House. And Katrina, I've told you this. I've known you. I've had the pleasure to be your friend now for so many years. I truly can't think of a person that would be better to represent the people of Texas. I can't think of a person who would be better to fight for a party and to stand up for values that we hold near and dear as conservatives. You have done it. You've been doing it. You just said you've been doing, you've been in this fight for 12 years. You were the voice of the campaign in 2016. It's an honor to call you a friend. I feel like I have personally learned so much from you. So we are here to support you in whatever way we can. We hope that you will come back soon on The Right View and keep our viewers, in tune with what you have going on. We would love to hear back from you if you finally make a decision.
Well, thank you so much, Laura. I'm so blessed to have you as a friend and the family support in my corner. It has truly been an honor to serve alongside of you. You guys have sacrificed so much as a family for our country. And so it's just been my honor to be included in your circle. And if anybody does want to know what I'm doing, KatrinaPierson.com, sign up and follow me there. And maybe there'll be some news soon or later. So thanks for having me.
What a good tease that was. Now I've got to go to KatrinaPierson.com as soon as we're done here. Well, Katrina, we love having you. We will have you back. All the best of luck with everything you're doing. We know you're going to be a great success. And thank you again for joining us here on The Right View tonight. And to everybody at home, as always, thank you for tuning in. We're going to try and bring you more of The Right View. We're going to do 2 shows a week, so stay tuned for more to come. And we will see you next time right here on The Right View.